representing Tama Martial Arts in Dayton, Ohio, Nick Durst. And his opponent in the Knoxville Mortgage Brokers red corner, officially weighing in at 146.8 pounds with a record of 1 win and 1 loss, representing Nashville MMA, Phil Hegwood. And our referee for the action, Luke Wilson.
Luke Wilson, our referee, not that Luke Wilson, but this guy a much better referee, if I could add that. But yeah, excited for this. We've got amateur Muay Thai.
And Nashville MMA is showing up tonight, ain't they?
Absolutely. And again, this is great for members from the gym. And you know, sometimes it's intimidating for people to go to a mixed martial arts gym because they might just want to box a little bit. They might just want to do a little bit of judo or a little bit of grappling. It seems intimidating, but I think once you're there, you become part of the family. You get supporting your teammates, and then Aries gives everybody a platform. The grapplers can come grapple, the kickboxers come do kickboxing or Muay Thai, and of course the show centered around the mixed martial arts. And Nashville MMA churning out some very top quality talent in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, for those of you who may be unfamiliar with Muay Thai rules, it looks like they're going quick breaks, maybe more of a glory style. They're not going to let them hang around in the clinch too long.
And this is amateur, so they have the headgear and they have the elbow pads.
Yeah, interesting, no shin guards, because I was told earlier they might go shin guards but no headgear. But all the same, everyone is, they're comfortable. They're comfortable in there. Well, as soon as it's throwing punches and kicks, the small, minute details don't matter as much.
No, Durst came out strong with the leg kick and knees checked a couple. That's to check with no shin pads is a different beast there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I'll give Phil Hegwood one thing. He's definitely investing in that body work early. You saw him with a nice little left hook to the body and starting to really rack up some of those knees inside the body in this clinch. And no, it's definitely Muay Thai. They're letting them hang on the clinch for the most part, as long as they're working. Oh, we get a nice little elbow over the top that just misses. But yes, Nick Durst, he came to fight, no doubt about that.
He had good head position. He was setting up his elbows with his head.
Great.
Good teeps.
Nice outside leg kick by Nick Durst, who now storms into the pocket. You hear the 10-second clapper. That will conclude the first round. Of course, in amateur Muay Thai, they're 2-minute rounds. So, of course, we'll have 3 2-minute rounds as opposed to the 3 3-minute rounds that we'll be having later for the mixed martial arts portion. And, well, I suppose that is officially our second round of the night. Everything else has been these 1 round, 10 minutes at a time. So, yes, this is the in-between. And, Alexis, for a couple of young fighters, of course, you got Nick Durst 1-0, Phil Hegwood 1-1. As a coach, what kind of information are you giving? Of course, you can't overload them with a bunch of different things. Are you trying to keep it very poignant and straight, or just trying to tell them to relax and breathe?
Kind of a little bit of both. I see, Edwin is coming on very strong, but he needs to set more things up. He needs to kind of find his range, find his pace. But on the other side, you have Durst. He is coming in, he's coming clean, he's coming and working that clinch work. But, he needs to kind of stand back and take his shots as well.
They got a lot of movement for being Muay Thai. They've used a lot of the cage, and usually in Muay Thai, it's kind of stand in front of each other and find your own little rhythm and shot and reshot. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually do kind of slow it down, breathe a little bit, and start to pick and poke and add up their points here, because it's only 2 minutes.
Well, and that's another interesting take. In traditional Muay Thai, especially in Thailand, everybody knows the fight doesn't even start till the 3rd round. It's a build-up, right? You kind of get that beat on your opponent, and then you start to unleash. So we had a hectic first round, and now they're going to come out in the second, and they're right back at it.
Pressuring right away. But they're not just clinching. They're tying up, and they're actually throwing knees and elbows and looking for their shots, which I truly appreciate.
No, they've been very good so far of keeping an active work rate, and both of them, they're both comfortable throwing a lot of offense. it seems like probably in the gym, I mean, Nick Durst is a comfortable clinch fighter, and Phil Hegwood is a comfortable clinch fighter. Now, when you have these two guys meet in the center, it's who's going to impose their will and kind of break the other guys. But so far, I mean, it's very evenly matched. Oh, and a big shot there from Durst, and then he gets a throw down to the mat. Durst tries the same right hand over the top again. This time, Hegwood a little bit wiser to it as they back up back to the cage.
Yeah, I'd like to see him kind of throw out a few jabs before his kicks or a few jabs before that big right hand.
Alexis, you did some Muay Thai as well, competed in a ring. How much would the cage change things? Because you don't see very often cage Muay Thai, unless it's John Wayne Parr's promotion over the land down under. How much of the ropes are a factor in Muay Thai? A lot of the times people will lean on them. You don't really have that advantage with a cage.
Yeah, well, you still have a little bit of give with the cage, depending on how structured it is. But the same thing, you can use that to your advantage. You can play off of it. Like, we have like great guys like Eddie out with solo, who he'll use it to bounce off and pick shots and use that to kind of power up some of his punches as well.
Yes, and of course, Eddie Absolo, one of the top American Muay Thai fighters on the scene, line fight veteran, in good company. And now we got a couple other rising American prospects coming from this amateur scene and building their way up. And America, known for, you know, great fighters, not necessarily a ton of Muay Thai fighters, but very nice to see that Aries giving them a platform, and we got some of the best guys in Tennessee coming out here to compete. And in Durst's case, I mean, he's from Dayton, Ohio, so I'm not sure if he's local or if he made this trip all the way down here just to compete, but he's somebody that wanted to fight, came ready to fight, and so far through 2 rounds, we've got exactly that. I gotta ask you guys, it's been a very competitive 2 rounds so far. Alexis, starting with you, how do you have this one scored?
You know, it's pretty close back and forth. I don't know. I think right now I would give the slight edge to Durst. He's had more of the sweeps. He's had more of the takedown. I think he can control more of the clinch the first round. So I think he would be up on the cards right now.
For you, Dustin, a lot of the times Muay Thai judging is a little bit subjective. We saw Durst land perhaps the better clean shots in that round, but a lot of good clean clinch work done by Phil Hegwood that Muay Thai judges often do score. How do you guys see this one through 2?
Yeah, I would have to agree. It's going to be interesting to see what the judges think. Are they familiar with Muay Thai rules, and how are they going to judge this fight? I think both guys have done a great job at trying to control, trying to implement their game. I would like to see a little bit more shots from the outside rather than just straight to the clinch. Seems like they'd probably both be a little bit comfortable doing MMA. So.
Yeah, and we saw a big takedown from Nick Durst as well. I mean, it looked like he wasn't totally out of his element, but of course, and there's another throw down to the mat. That does score traditionally very well in Muay Thai, but again, not 100% sure how the Tennessee judges are looking at this one. Of course, regardless of if it's 1-1 or 2-0, this third round is everything to play for. We got 2 minutes left. It goes by quick. You see already 90 seconds left in the fight, and so it's going to be which man wants it more at this point.
Durst seems to be controlling the center just a tad bit more here.
Hegwood countering with an outside leg kick. Eats a short right hook, but now they're back into the clinch. Jockeying for position. Little over a minute left in our third bout of the evening, which was our only amateur Muay Thai fight on the card. Referee separates them.
Good on the ref, yeah.
Yeah, of course, he lets them work. When they're in the clinch and they're both throwing knees and they're both trying to get that positioning going, he will let them work. But as soon as it stalls out, that's when he separates them. I know the fans appreciate it. And it allows the fighters to get going. They are throwing now. Hegwood with another little short right hook to the body. .30 seconds left.
Hegwood was doing a good job there of coming forward, but it seems like Durst's just a little bit stronger. As soon as they lock up, then he just takes the center of the cage and is able to kind of hold him here a little bit.
Durst did an excellent job, as like you said, after the first round, of maybe settling down his pace, not as erratic with his movement, whereas you see Hegwood, he takes a lot of big steps, he explodes into a lot of his techniques. And even though they're just 2-minute rounds, maybe fatigue starting to play in a small role. But anyways, that concludes the
Ladies
fight.
and gentlemen, let's hear it for the
And
Leeds
props to both
Warriors.
guys for taking the fight on such short notice.
Yeah, going out there and putting on a show, no doubt about that. And I think you can only grow from this. Of course, at the amateur level, there really is no downside. You go, you experience the lights, you see the crowd, you sleep in the hotel, you think about it at night. That's part of the battle, making the weight, showing up, seeing your opponent, getting in there and experiencing. And of course, when the day eventually comes where you do turn pro, nobody really remembers your amateur career. I remember a great man, John Gibbons, once said, the only people that care about your amateur record is you and your girlfriend. Everybody else doesn't care. In Alexa's case, you and your boyfriend. But of course, you know, amateur is more about ironing out some of the kinks and getting a lot more experience. And I think both guys benefited greatly from testing each other at this stage of their careers and going the full distance, getting that extra cage time.
Yeah, I don't think I was ever asked what my amateur career was, even though I was pretty proud of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's a good. If you have a good coach and you have a good team, they can kind of point you in a direction of like, hey, this is important. You know, you really are kind of building your base of what you're going to be known for going into it as a professional.
And even just dealing with your anxiety levels.
For your winner in the Allure blue corner, Durst.
Well, you heard it. We got the man from Ohio, Nick Durst, getting the unanimous decision victory.